Hello guys, how are you doing? This is Kobe here with another video. This time on the Not So Quick Analysis, we're gonna be talking once again about the Brazilian team. This feels like I'm betraying my country, leaking out the strategies of the teams, but I don't think that the teams at any of the major or players will be watching this video, so it's okay. Not doing something bad. At least I hope so. But talking about the legacy is very cool because they are the upcoming team, since the Austin major that they took place in the Bestia slot. They have the opportunity to grow and didn't stop to grow. They always grow and always improve, and this becomes very exciting because they aren't supposed to be at the Austin major, but suddenly they are, and now they start to make some duels to win the games, to advance in the stages. And once again, another major, another hype. They recently won the tournament in China, so very happy team, considered the second or third best team, if you may allow, in the Brazilian scene. That is awesome to see because Brazil, after all, it's an excellent moment for us. Furia winning tournaments, Legacy winning tournaments, playing, playing well, even Imperial, it's all on up for us. So let's moving on. Starting with the profile. Well, just before, let me say the player's name. Dumal, Lato, Lux, Nissin, and Sadzin. These are the players from Legacy, just to be aware of how I pronounce each name. But on the profile, they play a passive setup. Honestly, I don't like it. But it works and they're getting the results, so who am I to criticize? And the reason why I don't like the passive setup is that because they give too much space on the banana, right here. They usually doesn't contest you with pushes. They throw a Molotov here, sometimes I smoke in the side, maybe a flash, but not engaged on the banana. They prefer to control the B side on this circle right here, on the car position, with 2 players, 3 players in the main setup. But something I do like about them is this long player. You know, they always have Sadzin either here in the long with the WP, sometimes in the payroll with the WP, and then Nissin playing the balcony position to engage. That is the main house control, as I wrote, because they really like to force this house position, or maybe some going for some aggro positions, but always with this control in a passive setup. They wait for the T's to movement. They are a reactive team. Just 1 second, please. Sorry about that. Now, for the main strategy, what is their main play? It is 2A and 3B. As I said, they doesn't contest the banana space. They control from the side with Dumal, with Lat, and then Lux as the rotator player, right here. They stay there, they wait for the cheese to come, they wait for the first wave of shoots. When you come to the banana, a quick push, and then there is already a smoke in the mid position, and you then do a spin with the AKs, maybe with them first, if they are with them first, and then get AK from the T side. And that's how they play, they'll wait for the movement. On the B side, sorry, on the A side, that we have 2 players, we see this composition that, as I said, either Sedzin can play on the top mid with WP or in the payload. The key aspect that you must understand about this play is that Lux, it is the rotator right here. Lux, it is the one that wants to rotate. So if Legacy is feeling that Lux gonna be a quick time, a small time on the B side, on the banana part of the map, Sedzin, sorry, is playing on the backside in the payload because Lux will do the rotation and engage on this position where it is Sedzin. But if Legacy thinks there is a rush on the banana, Sedzin plays on the top mid because they do this preference to play the long on the top position. And that's why we have this region key highlighted. Because even though Nissin wants to play aggressive in the payload position, wants to play aggressive in the balcony and the house position, he must counter the possible movement on the T side in the top mid, the mid position right here in this opening. So in order to contest this position, he can push towards payload. See how the dynamic works? They rely on Lux movement on the rotation from him to decide where Sadizin is, and then to decide where Nissin is. So they act accordingly. One player moves, another player movement back. Now to the opposite, with 3 players on the A side and then 2 B. When this happens, the rotation is already paced. the cross the angle in the mid towards the boiler to avoid the T's movement. Once again, he's still on the balcony. But the thing is that they start to throw utilities on the bedroom position, because as much they doesn't want to focus on this region, they still need to contest it. And the contesting happens by utility. With a Molotov, it is a easy way to contest the region. And also, they can see if the T's are going to fade this Molotov. So the T's fade, there is a quick push on the A side. So I already start to rotate the banana player, maybe rotate Dumal, maybe Lato. So there is this gimmick that they need to understand the information. That is what really differentiates the tier 1 teams from the tier 2 teams. What you do with the information you have, because every team collects information. But the difference is to analyze the information during a game and react accordingly, it is important. And there is aspects that I really like about Legacy. Legacy plays this information game very well. They quickly adjust, they do these movements, even though they are a passive team, they are waiting for the T's to movement. But they understand how to work with information they have and understand how to gain more information. Now for the Aggro Halls position, really like when this team go for these aggressive movements, because especially when you're a passive team, a lower team or a turtle team, you break the hit, man. The opponent isn't expecting to see Nissin right away in the bedroom with two Molotovs blocking out the full movement, because you want to close the T's movement on this region. In order to do this, Nissin pushes the region. So he pushes really fast and close. Once again, Lux in the patio, Sedzin on the top position, really keeping up, because oh, sorry about that. If the T's decide once again to push top mid, they're already set up to play. And now, what this full aggression on the Aggro House happens? What is the causal correlation? On the B side, what they want to do on the B side, they want to retreat. Because only two players, they already play passive, they're giving up too much pressure on the A side. So the B side plays back. Dumal right on the front of the position, Lato on the boost position, play very control. And when they have these two players set up on the Aggro House instead of the 3A to B, the key aspect here is that they have more utility. This isn't a position that will happen with shortage of utility, They only play this position when they have a good buy, a good economy, because they will be spending a lot of utility on the banana. They must keep the utility going. Molotov faded, first flash faded, first smoke faded, the flash is already away. Second round of utility, another Molotov, another smoke, some nades, to control the position. So this is an expensive position for the CT, but it works. There is this aspect because you only think about weapons on most of the cases, but there is also the utility. When you have a few utilities, you can play this because you already is a team that gives up the space on the banana, and then you doesn't have the money to control it more, only with two players. So you play when you are rich. Now for the last position, once again, just an illustration on how they work and how they want to play it, because this is one of the few positions where Nissin isn't on the balcony position, no. Nissin is on the long part of the map because they really like this player on the long. As I said, even when Lux is playing on the 3B setup, they also have a Sadzin on this position because they really value the long control. And the reason they value this long control, as I said in the profile, it is to rotate, it is to understand the team. Because even when they attack the B side, the long player can rotate back. But moving back to the position, because it is quite interesting. They start with this AWP Mid pick from Sadzin, very standard. A lot of teams that this, you throw a flash on the top mid, or on the mid position, the lower mid right here. And then your mid AWP goes for the picks. 1, 2 picks, maybe a third pick he does, and then rotates back. And this rotation opens a lot of possibilities. He can rotate towards the short position, near the A side. And if he does this, Lux doesn't need to rotate towards him because you already have AWP and a long player. So Lux stays more in the rotational aspect. And he can go B. If he goes B, the banana players right here that are playing very close to the boost position, to the A side, to the B side, can push a little forward. That is their certain position behind this wall here, behind the car. Because even though they doesn't contest the banana space, they contest this region right here. They doesn't engage, they only protect. And that's why they have the opportunity to move forward. Let's just give a eraser this a few hours because it is confusing. Sorry. See, they only push it until here. And then keep up this defense with more utility, with the numerical advantage in case there are 3 players with Lux, 2 players with the 2 banana players. But let's move on to the counterplay now. And well, this is my suggestion on how you should be playing as T side against Legacy CT. First thing, split A. I do think that it works very well because even though you are playing against a fixed house position, fixed balcony position that is Nissin, it is only one player. Legacy doesn't play the dual setup on the house position. And this gives you opportunity to do a rush with 2 players. 3 on the top mid, right here on the first blue circle, 2 on the balcony and house position. There is an opportunity that I don't know how Lex reacts because in the games that I watch, like against Sol, against Legacy, or against Pain, against Aurora, against Astralis, there is no reaction. They didn't opt for a strategy like this in the T side. But I do think that could work very well because, as I said, only Nissin. There is no secondary player. Only a few exceptions when Sadzin plays in this angle with the WP, but it's only after the mid pick. So when this happens, your mid players probably are dead, you're probably already killed Sadzin. So you know you already have the information if there is possibly a secondary player. So my suggestion, split A, perfect, and then a fast banana. Even though Legacy, it is ready to contest the first stage right here. Oh, sorry about that. Even though they're ready to contest and play this setup, I still think that the fast approach works against them very well. Because either you find the 3 players with the 3B setup, or only the 2 players do Monolato. And the teams are already exploiting this against Legacy. You know, there is how the teams are usually playing. And you can identify this by 2 ways, watching the demos or just casually looking on the stats, because you see that Lumao and Lato are respectively the city first and last to enter duels attempts. And the reason is that they're trading the options in the banana, you know, they're already attacking. So you can understand this by a generic way. And the reason why I think that teams keep insisting, even though Lato and Lumao are winning their duels, is that Inferno, it is a map that there is not too much options. You know, you either attack banana, or you either split mid, or with a full aggression on the top side of the map. So you must attack banana. But what I think the teams are doing wrong when attacking Legacy is that they're throwing few utilities, you know. They usually have a Molotov, a flash. No. Enter fast. Make your most aggressive player go on the banana, even though he's in maybe not the banana player, the main banana player, but make him in this part of the map and engage. Throw nades. Nades are very effective on this way. He doesn't need to throw a Molotov, a flash, a smoke. No, 2 nades and engage. If you conquer this space right here on the map, you already won the round almostly, because this progresses you charge the A side. And you probably trade the kill, you probably take the secondary kill. You know, so that's it. Since Lex doesn't contest the banana and only the defensive way of the banana, only the defensive part, go there, engage really fast. And let's go for the quick break. So how we're doing straight, I have to stop always the microphone sound because my throat is still a little sour from the weather that just changed. It was very hot in the last few days, and suddenly 2 days very cold in my region, and this kill my throat every time. I don't know, this weather crazy recently in the Brazil because due to the climate change, you know, the weather is became too unstable in my region. It is always this upside of the really hot and then cold, really hot and then cold. Even though you're in the spring, this wasn't common in my region. But there are regions in Brazil that has a high thermal amplitude, if you may say, that starts really cold in the early mornings, in the end of the day, you know, very hot. But this killed my throat. Let's move on for this side. Well, Legacy plays completely opposite of the city side. They play fast and they have the clear block players. What I mean by clear block players is that both Dumal and Lato plays in the same spot right here. They play in the banana. In the same way they play the CT, they play the ST. Sorry about that. And then we have these two parts here of the map. Because you have a primary block right here that is the lurker or look sometimes. And then is Sim plus Edzin in the top mid. The second mid, if you allow me to say like this. So that's how they play. They play fast and they have the blocks of the players. Always together, always the same players in the same spot. While some people may say, oh, it's predictable because you know already the players they spot. And yes, I agree with you, it's predictable. But how to react against these predicaments? Well, another history, another thing to do. It is hard to do. Because this also happens with the CT side of Legacy. They became way too specialized on playing certain parts of the map with certain players. And in clear angles, they know how to approach the region, especially Nissin. Nissin has a low rating for the Legacy overall. He isn't the highest rating of the team, but he has a crucial job to cut rotations to do the disengages in the house position. That is a hard position to play, both in the T and the CT. And he deserves this highlight because rating isn't everything in the map. There are other things than ratings. Now going up for the only of the primary plays because there are two primary plays, the split mid and then the banana rush. Once again, Nissin plus Lato on the same spot. They engage on the balcony position with two players, always moving fast. And the reason they are able to run fast because they already have a smoke in this part of the map near the pit position. And then the first block. As I said on the profile, you have one block here, another block here, another block here. Since the engaging is the A side, you only active the two blocks. Three players with Dumal, Lux plus Sedzin. Sometimes Sedzin plays the WP. It's not the rule of thumb, but the normal play. Like 30-40% of this engagement on the split mid, he has the AWP. And how they progress, that is the differential of the legs from other teams. Because the usually path that we see other teams taking is that they expand in the top mid, charts long, and then engage and close with the players on the balcony position. Legacy prefers to play the short role. Maybe one player, maybe Lux, will be on the long position, and then two players on the short. But the main idea is to fully control short. So they give all this attention to short. They give the Molotov in the pit player right here. They give the smoke to block these rotations from coming from B. The B players come from here. So they give full attention to church. And then I think that is a smart choice because you already have the control from balcony of two players. Once you enter the second to trade the kill in case the first die. With the three players, you doesn't need to split even more to make it 2, 2, and 1. No, 3 in the same side, 2 in the same side, and engage fast. Now for the 3 banana. In the 3 banana, there is this option, of running the dual lurker setup or the only one lurker. So, once again, by blocks. You can have your first block of a lurker right here with only the first mid position. Or you can have Lato plus Nissin in the second block. What is the difference between having 1 and 2 blocks? You spread the information to take out isolated duos with 2 blocks of players on the split mid, on the 3 banana. But when you only have 1 block with 2 players in the bedroom position, you really want to take the kills. You doesn't want to waste 2 players just to get information. You really want to at least trade because in a 4v4 situation, it is favor for the legacy because the banana players can rotate back towards the first mid, towards here. 1 block and rotates towards in this position and engage after split. And then we go back to the previous position where is the split mid. So you want to take kills if you have the 2 players in the top mid side of the map. So remember, 2 players for information, 1 in each side. If you want block only, kills. And now let's move back to the banana part of the play. With 3 players, they really want to push their advantage in the banana. They really want to engage. And that's how Legacy does. Because they play fast. They aren't a team that stalls the time in controlling this lower mid situation, or keeping right there stopping. No, they move and they move fast. So after this area information game, because here we have, the typical banana engage, where you throw the utility with spams and shoots in the idea to take some kills. That area chaos that happens. After information happens, they engage. Very cool, very standard position, really like it. Now to the banana rush. Not much to say because no, a rush is a quick position. Once again, one lurker in the top mid, a secondary lurker that is behind you to make wait for the flank if the CT decide to push in the mid, or even to himself engage in this part of the map. But now the three players. Similar to the three banana rush, to the three banana players, the rush, it is a fast. The key aspect here is on how far they throw the utility. See that we have one nade and then two molotovs, one here, another here. That is because it is happening faster. They aren't waiting for the lurkers on the top mid in that mid to give them the information. No, they doesn't need to wait because there is the difference between these rushes and the informational game. Even though both are fast players, one doesn't need to pull the trigger, there is a possibly player in the balcony. No, he sees there, the rushing is happening, and whatever happens, happens. Now for the A rush. In the A rush, I had to highlight these separations because when you think of rushes, you think 4 or 5 players in the same spot. But Legacy prefers to close it, to make a gap. And the reason why I think they make this gap is that on the demos that I have watched about them, they still can come back for the banana because the banana keeps showing up as the main spot to attack, the main way to play. And why you choose these two specific players is very cool because Dumal, the first player right here, as he is the main banana player with a lot of duos, a lot of success in the region, he plays as the flank. And then we have Sadzin with the WP. See, so there is the reason of this gap. Sadzin can trade kills, Sadzin can give the information with the WP. So they throw the top roach in this part of the map in the rush. That is the difference between a rush and a split for the Legacy. In a rush, they control long. No, so we have Nissin that can engage in the boiler position or in the balcony position, but the team attention here is not to split in the long and short. No, they go for full long. That's why we see this very crucial flash right here, because this flash can blind the player that is hiding here and also remove the player that may hide for here. So this is what they want to do. They make this gap to avoid the flanking from the banana, as the B players may rotate from the banana. So Dumal is here, Sadzin has the WP, and the team's push with 3 players in the same spot. But they also keep moving forward. They're not stalling there with holding angle. Like Dumal isn't just holding the angle. Dumal is there waiting for the team pull the trigger to push, to rush the mid, and then he follows sooner. Sadzin giving the control with the WP follows sooner. Now let's move on to counterplay. Well, since Legacy is a team that really likes to place the banana and really likes to go for this aggro position, my main recommendation is to play the 3B setup. 2 players in this part of the map, and then your rotational player in the boost position to give more, a safer spot, to throw the utilities right here, the Molotov in this part of the map. So this third player is to throw the utilities and also become a +1. And then what do you do with this control? You go for the aggro banana. Because Legacy himself are going for this approach, going for these attacks on the map. So I think you should counter react. And then yourself deduce. Make them take out the read positions, that you must hide here, because you already can dislodge this player with a Molotov. So you should make Legacy uncomfortable going up for this fast move in the banana. After all, if you give too much space for Legacy, then you conquer by stage, First conquer this sector of the map, then conquer this sector of the map with the Molotovs and then with the nades. So you shouldn't be giving too much freedom for Legacy. Make them uncomfortable. Make them react for your players. Make them react to what you need to do on the map. And now on the A side, I really like to have the balcony player because, as I said, Nissin is always in the region. The bedroom is always alone. Only the two players on the lurker position, the top mid. But most of the time he is alone. So you can catch him off guard because while he is there to take out duels, to collect information, if you move faster than him, you engage in the duel, you win the duel, you have a 5v4 situation on your side at CT. Maybe two players, maybe an Aggro Halls position with the AWP, have your AWP sometimes to rotate in this part of the map. There is something that I didn't saw Legacy doing at CT, but something that is easier to exploit. I think that this play, it is G2. G2 plays the Inferno in this way. They have the CT AWP with some Payos having the AWP and taking out control on the house position. You make one per on the faraway point and then some Payos in the backside. So there is a good trick. And also the long because they only attack long with quick rushes, and that is on the quick A mid rush. But they turn the split, they prefer to focus on the short position. Even though they will throw the flash, they will throw the smoke, they aren't a dumb team to ignore this region. But you should position your player in this part of the map. Make them react to you. That is the gimmick to play against Legacy, in my opinion. You should force the movement towards them. Do not give too much space for Legacy. And this, for me, it is a rule of thumb to play against Brazilian teams as a whole. Because we Brazilians, when you have too much space, we win the round. We work very well with space. But you make the pressure towards us, it is very hard to react in sometimes. Even though we have AMS players, we have players that can counter these duels, we sometimes fumble under this pressure. Like Fúria did, Peng does this. This video is recording the 13th of November. Peng just played against Tailu. And we had a few occasions like this that Tailu really forced Peng, really forced Snowzin, really forced GGT. So it was rigged. If you give too much space for Brazilians, we win the round. Now that's it, guys. That is the major special. The major starts in a few days. I really want to take out this stage 1 teams. I do think that Legacy has the potential to advance towards stage 2 and 3, so we're gonna be talking more about that. Sorry about anything because my voice, as I said, my throat is a little harsh to talk. I know that my voice sounds okay, but I had troubles really thinking because it hurts the throat. So it kind of made worse to make the video in this part of them in this aspect, because hard to think with pain. That's it. Bye bye.